Alright, yo people, what we telling them? I feel like this is the first time I've missed a memes for Dante. I feel like I've reacted to pretty much everyone except for these things right here, fam, you know what I mean? As I said in previous videos, man, just going through some ish behind the scenes right now, fam, you know what I'm saying? So my life is very unpredictable at the moment in terms of like recording all of them thing there. Man's fully exhausted right now and them thing there. But I haven't uploaded on the second channel for a while, so I'm gonna try to give you man something. I ain't gonna react to these two. I ain't gonna bother with that because that was 7 days ago. You know what I'm saying? I still haven't watched the Spider-Man film yet. You know what I'm saying? Even though I was supposed to watch it on the day that it came out. You know what I'm saying? What you call it for, yeah, reasons. So I'm gonna just do this one right here, the most up-to-date one in them thing there. And if you don't see me for a while on this channel, on my music channel, then just know that I'm like not necessarily taking a break, but just dealing with ish behind the scenes until the situation is over. The way I'm feeling right now is that I feel like I'm gonna just come off YouTube until like, you know what I'm saying, everything's back to normal and them thing there. But I don't know, it might just be the way I'm feeling right now. Tomorrow I might wake up and feel like I want to record 50,000 videos. I have quite a few reactions to do, but CB are doing them, so I'll just give you man this for today and them thing there. I think Margin Cat released as well, but CBA man, CBA.
And this is why you should always check the trunk of your car. In 2013, a 47-year-old wife from Hong Kong named Wong Su Feng
My first
and her
ever
16-year-old daughter Lily
very
Ka
scary
Li Ying
reaction
was on the road, and after 4 minutes of driving, they parked at Sayo Village bus stop, only for both of them to suddenly pass away seconds later. The Hong Kong police was baffled as to how a mother and a daughter suddenly passed away inside the car, so they conducted a thorough investigation, and after running an autopsy, the police found that Wong and Lily died of carbon monoxide poisoning inside the car. So
I was literally about to say that they couldn't have got sniped in them thing there, fam, because no bullet is that small that you're not saying it can literally kill you in them thing there and you don't see no physical damage, so it must have been some type of gas or whatever, fam.
The police went through the vehicle trying to trace where the carbon monoxide gas was leaking from, and once they got to opening the trunk, what they saw was truly odd. Turns out, 2 yoga balls were found inside the trunk and was leaking extremely toxic gas that ultimately flowed to the driver and passenger seats. And who was the killer, you may ask? It was none other than the husband and former university professor Ka Kim Sung, who killed his wife and daughter because he was unhappy with his current marriage and was having an extramarital affair with one of his students.
What the f...
Can I show you a scary video?
Of his students.
going on here, fam? Fam, you're scary, blood. Sort out that thing, fam. What is that?
Can I show you a scary video?
Go ahead, though.
After this, she called the cops.
I looked out, I didn't see anybody out on the road or any cars or anything. So I went back to my ring video to make sure I wasn't just creatively hearing something.
I can hear somebody saying something, but I can't.
Well, I posted it.
According to the YouTuber who posted that video, Chilling Scares, they still don't know who that voice was.
Does a photo like this make you feel uncomfortable? Or something like this? This phenomenon is known as the uncanny valley.
Not necessarily.
Introduced by Masahiro Mori in the 1970s, the uncanny valley refers to a phenomenon where our brains can register that something is very close to human, but we're also aware that something's not quite right. It's the in-between, where we can process that something looks like a person, but it's not a person, and it causes feelings of distress. Believed to be an evolutionary mechanism, which is also not exclusive to just humans, the uncanny valley is where we perceive these things to be a threat or not of us, and it can cause feelings of panic. One of the most well-known modern examples of this was actually an early test screening of Shrek in 2000, where Fiona was rendered
I feel none of this that you're trying to tell me
as
right now.
very hyper-realistic.
This is
So
not applied to
realistic
me.
that it surpassed the threshold of comfort in cartoon and moved into the uncanny valley. Children actually became so panicked at this screening, they were reported to be crying at the movie anytime she came on the screen. The entire film had to be halted and she was re-rendered. I'm not sure if this was the actual earliest version of Fiona that made it to the screening, but to put this in context, the one that made it to worldwide theaters is right above. But I did happen to find this monster from some of the early test footage of Shrek. The uncanny valley is still a widely unstudied phenomenon, but it continues to become more and more pervasive in entertainment as well as our modern animation.
Wait a minute, blood. Why the hell is he using that format, blood? Unless this is an old video, blood. Surely you man ain't out here using wired headphones. I thought you man are all chatting about AirPods this and AirPods that, fam. Like, you know what I'm saying, fam? Why go on for that?
From some of the early test footage of Shrek. The uncanny valley is still a widely unstudied phenomenon, but it continues to become more and more pervasive in entertainment as well as our modern animation.
Use the wire of the headphones on the mic for a long time.
Stay all left. On the last one. There's nobody up on 23? No, they evacuated everybody down. All right, they're finally going to the bus. Thanks. Yeah.
This is crazy. Why the hell is it so exposed?
The building come down?
I don't know. Something fell. What you see?
But what's the point of wearing it if you're just going to take it off every
It was
single
pretty
time?
clear at one point, and then this whole bunch of smoke and glass, and I think we're just about to...
I saw
That's mad.
somebody push a boy out the window, and I was looking up at the building, and to tell you who the nun was, I can't say, but I knew it was a nun because she had to have it. And he kind of hit and...
Bounce?
Well, I guess you'd call it was a bounce. And then he laid still.
Sally also said she saw a boy drown after he was thrown off a rowboat and into a lake.
All I said is, did he drown?
Who'd you say that to?
To the nun. And she said, oh, don't worry, he's gone home for good.
Many other kids from St. Joseph's told similar stories.
Man, religion is a beautiful thing, but then you just have these weird people in that, fam, they ain't correct, that just put these mad-ass fallacies and fantasies in the head and them thing there, fam. You know what I'm saying? Blood, like, hell, blood, did you read the Bible, fam? I swear I didn't tell you to kill this youth, blood. The hell?
And she said, oh, don't worry, he's gone home for good.
Many other kids from St. Joseph's told similar stories. This is Ed Dupree explaining how he was thrown off a boat.
I was fighting for my life when I was swimming ashore.
And did this happen to other children?
Oh, yes. Yes. All the time that I was there, it happened. Every summer.
Patty Zeno said a nun named Sister Priscilla tried to push her off a windowsill when she was standing on the outside washing the window.
The windows were open, probably like this, so that they could hold you by your ankles. And she just went.
Okay. And what happened?
I started to fall.
Yeah, you started to fall and then what, fam? The hell? What, is Spider-Man swinging or something, blood? Like, the hell? Wait, what? That's footage of, 2019 Colin was killed by one of a 14-year-old. A 14-year-old you kills his teacher, blood. For there's actually, I don't think there's absolutely any reason to why you'd want to kill your teacher, fam, at the age of 14, fam. Like, what the fuck? Wait, what? What the fuck? So that means that this was all premeditated. He planned this, fam, to go do the mad thing, put her in the thing, you know what I'm saying, blood, wheel her out, and then what did she do, fam? I believe she may have still been alive as Philip done no one stop him as well, blood. Like, when have you ever seen, in my 22 years of living, I've never seen any type of student wheeling a bin outside, fam. You telling me no one stopped him? And I'm guessing they're not going to tell us why.
You should probably know what is going on in North Korea. From Friday forward, you should probably know what is going on in North Korea. From Friday forward, people in North Korea are prohibited from smiling, shopping, or drinking as part of an 11-day mourning period commemorating the death of former leader Kim Jong-il.
Yeah, I've seen this. I saw a little previous video as well on how they're living in them thing there, fam. You know what I'm saying? Basically living in like solitary confinement, like the whole country and them thing there, fam. And yeah, whose stream was I watching? Someone was watching it. Oh, I think it was Reese Blood. It's Reese TV. I think it was It's Reese TV. That's what I was watching and them thing there. Because we be watching just like random videos and them thing there on stream and that, blood, from his people in China that send him videos and them thing there.
Even if your family member dies during the mourning period, you are not allowed to cry out loud, and the body must be taken out after it's over. Anyone who disobeys the rule will be arrested, just like they are every year, and in some cases, sentenced to death.
Photos with disturbing backstories.
Oh, what? It detects the bodies and them thing there.
Your Tesla sees dead people.
Dude, that was creepy. Oh my god.
How is it possible for an entire group of...
The fact that you man even just start to even do that just shows how messed the world is, fam. Like, you man are ridiculous.
People to hear or see someone who doesn't actually exist. Welcome to Creep Time on TikTok with Silas Dean. This is the unexplained mystery of Frida Sofia. In 2017,
I've got a whole earring on, fam. I feel like I should just skip this video up there. Like, why is he talking to me?
Mexico was hit with a devastating earthquake that crushed multiple buildings. One of those buildings being a school right in Mexico City. There were, of course, numerous children and adults who were trapped under the rubble, but there was one girl in particular who caught the attention of the media. A 12-year-old girl trapped under the debris who was responding to rescuers saying that her name was Frida Sofia. There was round-the-clock coverage, and a nation assembled around the story of Frida, and she became a symbol of hope in these efforts to rescue the children and her. Rescuers and journalists had multiple accounts of speaking with Frida and confirmed that she was far down beneath the rubble underneath a piece of granite but physically stable. There are some responders who report even seeing her wiggle her fingers far down through a crack in the debris. But here's the problem. Frida did not exist. The school actually comes forward and makes a statement saying that they have all children accounted for and they have never had a record of a girl named Frida Sofia. Multiple stations and people of leadership have to come forward and make statements of retraction and say that she's not down there, she never was, and she's not real. Suspected of being one of the largest cases of mass hysteria in modern history, it is completely unexplained how there were so many separate accounts of people who claimed to speak to her or even see her beneath the rubble. Ultimately, the existence of Frida is a complete mystery, and there are still some people who believe she was really down there in that debris.
Yeah, I muted my headphones, so I'm only you and we're listening to that. Anyway, we move. Man overboard on Groot.
No, both side.
Man overboard. Man overboard.
Shit.
Chernobyl. Disaster. In the year 1968, scientists wanted to test the safety system in a nuclear power plant located in Chernobyl, a city in Ukraine. It gone completely wrong. There was an explosion which caused a high amount of radiation in Ukraine. Workers had to cover the nuclear power plant with sand to lower the radiation. But there was one more problem, and probably the biggest. There was melting steel, so radioactive that if it would touch the water, it would cause an explosion so big 3 other nuclear power plants would explode. If that happened, half of Europe would be affected by the radiation. 3 workers had to drain the water so the steel wouldn't touch it. They knew that they would die if they go in there. That's why the workers were called the Suicide Squad. Luckily, they managed to drain the water. They were heroes to Europe. Worst ways people have died. Part 6.
Fucking hell, mate. He lived in a small apartment in Stoke-on-Trent, England. I was about to say, fam. Megan worked as a youth football coach and she loved sports. She wanted to be the first person in her family to go to uni. Megan finished work around people waiting for a taxi with Joseph. And she emmed him. They just told Megan he couldn't go home as he had drank too much. Joseph told Megan he couldn't go home as he had drank too much. So Megan said he could stay at hers. Okay. Wait. The hell could it even happen though, blood? What, you tried to smash and she didn't let you, so you did a mad thing, fam? Like, the hell? What the hell could have happened? That's literally the only scenario I can think of, fam, because you man don't know each other well enough to be chatting on some like deeper situation to where it causes an altercation and them thing there, fam. She went to your school and then, but they didn't say, oh, they were good friends there, you know what I'm saying? Just went to your school. But even so, blood, as a woman, blood, I can't even lie to you, as a woman living on your own and that, fam, you have to do everything in your power to protect yourself, and that does not include allowing some random don, no matter who they are, to come and stay at your yard, because at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, female empowerment and all of that, but if worse comes to worse and he wants to do a mad thing to you, fam, more times, 9 times out of 10, you ain't going to be able to stop it, fam, you know what I mean? So, precautions and all of them thing there, fam. You could have said, I don't know, I don't even know what you could have done, but just not, bro, going to your yard is not that there. That wasn't the one, fam. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the one. Even as a man, you shouldn't take risks like that, just letting a random stranger, because even though you might be able to get yourself out of those situations, the damage that may be caused, you know what I'm saying, fam? Was it really worth it? But as a woman, bro, precautions, man. Precautions. Like, my sisters would, bro, never played. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are too, I don't know if it's a race thing or if it's just people's likability to people and them thing there, and just to being too trustworthy on all of them things. Because my sisters allowing some random don to come to their yard and stay there overnight, blood, never, fam. Never, blood. Or anyone in my family, fam. You know what I mean? That's, yeah, nah. Had been exactly that's the only thing. That is the only thing, blood. Is sexual assault. That's the only thing. That's the only thing, blood. That's the only thing, fam. That's the only thing that could have happened. Megan had been sexually assaulted, strangled, and stabbed 9 times in the neck and back, which had been done with such force it had reached her lungs, blood. Yeah.
Disturbing things caught on dashcam. In this 2016 dashcam footage, a man is driving his car on an isolated road at night when he notices something strange on his way. As the car rounds a corner, an out-of-place individual dressed in a suit with a briefcase and an umbrella comes into frame, followed by another identical man. Fearful, the 2 men in suits retreat into the long grass, where it becomes evident that there are numerous individuals who seem identical to each other.
What the fuck? If you man watched Hawkeye, the new series and that, and you man know the little group in the park, blood, you know what I'm saying, that were pretending to be some mystical, I don't know what they were doing, fam, you know what I'm saying, but ended up helping him, you know what I'm saying, near the end of the thing, you know what I'm saying, I was spoiling them thing there, but that might just be them, they just might be like cosplaying and just take it very, very seriously, fam, you know what I'm saying, allow them to do the thing, man. You get me, fam? Allow them to do the thing.
Where it becomes evident that there are numerous individuals who seem identical.
The way they're moving is very weird,
to each other.
Why are they like, you know what I'm saying, like they're in a game or something, fam? The way they're moving don't seem human-like.
It comes into frame, followed by another identical.
Look at the way they're running, fam. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at least doing this. I don't care if I have a briefcase in my hand, fam. You know what I mean?
Man. Fearful, the 2 men in suits retreat into the long grass.
And then look at how all of them move in synchronicity with the little, like,
it becomes
bounce
evident that there are
do.
numerous individuals who
like,
seem identical to each other.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, that's spooky.
Go, 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 no, 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 please, 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 what? Please, please, please. Please, what? Please, what? No.
Yeah, I think they're one of those as well, fam. You know what I'm saying? I think they're one of those. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this guy definitely is, fam. You get me? He might be as well, but that's the thing, fam. You know what I'm saying? You can swing that way, but still hold your manliness and that, fam. You know what I'm saying? You can't be freezing up like a woman, blood. You get me? Like, people be going into them roles a bit too much and that. Like, still keep your manliness to where when you're in a situation like this, you can, you know what I'm saying? MLC stay triple C, calm, cool and collected, fam. You get me? Obviously, I know the situation's a mad thing. Imagine being shot down by the cartel, fam. You're not saying guns, AKs pointed at you. I know it's a mad situation, fam. But just going into complete hysterics and them thing there, fam. Keep it together, fam. Because you're just making your boyfriend's job harder, fam. I'm guessing.
No, Espanol, please.
Funny, just stereotyping right now.
We're just.
No, they definitely are. They definitely are. They definitely are. But even look at the way he's talking. He's still talking like that. But I still, you know what I'm saying? He's still keeping that, you know what I'm saying, manliness in him, trying to deal with the situation, fam. Instead of my man going, like, come on, man.
What? No, Espanol, please. We're just.
Yeah, they're definitely LGBTQ. Oh, they come. This is no scary, creepy, weird video, blood. They just said no problem, fam. Imagine he said that no problem. Drive over. Nah, that would have been crazy, blood. That was a bit brazy.
Hey, please. No problem, okay? I'm about to pass out. Logan, don't. It's okay, it's okay.
You see what I'm saying? You're making his job harder, fam. Compose yourself, my guy, fam. You have more beard hair than him and you're still acting more of a woman. I ain't ask him, blood. Come on now, man.
No problem, okay? What? You what? Can we go? Where's on?
Horrifying things ever live streamed.
Imagine they just sprayed up the car,
some upsetting sounds at the end of this video, so viewer discretion advised.
Whoa. You man hear that, blood? Let me replay that again in case you man didn't hear that, fam. You know what I'm saying? Listen to what they said.
The most horrifying things ever live streamed, part 5. There will be some upsetting sounds at the end of this video, so viewer discretion advised. This beautiful bride-to-be is sitting alongside.
What? Just got married, fam. Just got married, blood.
This video, so viewer discretion advised. This beautiful bride-to-be is sitting alongside of her brother, and minutes away from her wedding where she planned to surprise her fiancé.
She didn't even get married yet.
With a helicopter entrance, something she'd been dreaming of since she was a little girl. She's all smiles in the beginning of her live, but once the aircraft began shaking wildly, her expression melts into anxiety and then pure panic. Still, she tried to close her eyes and calm her nerves. Suddenly, scream.
You know what I'm saying? She tried to calm her nerves and them thing there. Then you have my man in the car and that full man and that blood too, a ball second. You know what I'm saying? Blood all getting I'm about to pass out. Like, come on now, man. Hold it together, big man.
Flames erupt, a siren begins blaring, and something unthinkable happens. The aircraft crashed into the woods 1 mile away from her fiancé, who was waiting at the end of the aisle.
Did he hear that, fam?
Nobody survived.
What's likely?
Okay, guys, so that spider video I showed you guys, I caught the spider right there. It's inside that bowl. I don't know how.
Jump scare incoming.
I saw it and I just grabbed the bowl and it's in there. So I'm just take a peek so that we can see what it looks like.
Jump scare incoming, fam.
You guys ready? All right, let's do this. In 3, 2, 1.
Yo, why is that so? I'm so glad I turned down my earphones. I turned down my earphones, but what the hell, fam? Anyway, I'll catch you, man, in the next one, blood. That was your boy, Manline Jais. Watching Manline memes for Dante V's, what do you call it? Weird, creepy, and scary V3. That was my first ever one in that, fam. If you don't see me from today, I don't know. I'm somewhere in it. But I'll be back, fam. You know what I'm saying? It's your boy, Manline Jais. And I'm out here.
Bar after bar after bar after bar after bar, I'm too persistent with income and no cast. Get it on my own, no collab. But a bar with me, that's a body bag. Your man's want smoke, then he leaves with a toe tag. Whole squad hit with a double mag Glock. Got left in the street and the body's getting chucked. Bullets with names and your shit's getting popped. Better be with me and the bag's getting cocked. Still gotta chase the bag, humble. Ain't gotta brag in a league on my own and my stats getting flagged. Hit me for the feet, got verses in stats. Come through like the queen, gotta pay that tax.